What's up, guys? So today is rest day, but I wanted to get out here and film a home gym tour video for y'all. I've done one in the past where it was like a portion of another video, but I wanted to do a video dedicated just to this tour where, I go over everything a little bit more in depth, take my time, just review some of the equipment that I have, what I like and what I don't like, and hopefully, it can help you guys in building your home gym. I did mine on a budget for the most part, so a lot of my equipment is on the cheaper end, but it works. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this little video. And yeah, let's go ahead and get into that tour. All right, so here is it in its beauty. For the most part, I am done with this gym. I'm not going to add anything else for the time being. I'm going to be moving in about a year. So for now, this is what we're leaving it at. So I have a pretty cheap rack here. I've gone over this before, but we're going to go over it again. Down here, I have mounted the rack to a piece of plywood, and that is just to keep it still, keep it from sliding. I could have mounted it into the concrete, but I did not want to do that. And so I have these little brackets, and then I used some self-tapping screws into the metal. I did have to pre-drill some holes because it was some very thick steel, and then drilled down into the wood, and it holds very, very well. And then over here on top, I do have this box. I haven't found anything that works as good as it does. It's the perfect size, and it kind of blocks the light so that when I'm laying there benching, it isn't, blinding me. And, it does good. It's very sturdy. I'm not necessarily doing like 700 pounds by any means, but it does get the job done. I'm squatting at times have up to 400 pounds up here, over 400 pounds, and it's fairly sturdy. It's good. And so back here, the thing is, I have all of my garage equipment and tools in here as well. I don't have a shed to store stuff separately. So I tried to make it as pretty as possible. I got some curtains from Walmart actually, and just, zip tied them to the top of the racks. And, they can still pull open right here in the middle, all my stuff. It's easy to get stuff, it doesn't get in the way. And so that's what we went with there. Over here, I have these mats. They are fairly thin. If you're looking for something that you can drop weights on and not worry about the concrete, I wouldn't get something this thin. I still do whenever I'm using, say, those heavy dumbbells like 115s. I will use these foam mats and put them down as well to kind of brace the impact a little bit more. And then over here, I did get, with these, some very, very thick ones so that I can drop deadlift on it with no issues. And they're good. Concrete's good. But they were more on the expensive end, which is why I only did them on these two ends. I believe they were like $50. So pretty pricey. But they work, and it works for me. It kind of drives me crazy having these little puzzle piece on ends, that it's not like a clean edge. But that's all right. You don't really notice it too much. And so, yeah, we'll keep going. Over here, I have these bumper plates, right? They are pretty cheap, but they are great. I've had these almost 2 years. This whole gym has been about over 2 years in the making now that I've been building all this slowly. And they're good. There's not really any wear or tear on them. A little bit maybe on the edges, but they're great. They are very much so calibrated. I do have some 1-inch plates as well. For my wife, she uses a smaller barbell. And yeah, so they came in some 45s, 35s, 25s, and then 10s and 15s. And then I got another set of 45s as well. And that was the whole package I got. I do, however, have some steel plates. These are decent. They do not come calibrated. And so if you order a set of 2, you may get one that's 44 pounds and one that's 47 pounds. So these, for the most part, did come very close to 45, and they were pretty accurate. I marked them with tape to know which ones to pair up. So these 2 I'll pair up, and these 2 because they are the closest in weight, down to the 10th. And so they're about 45. I believe these are like 46, and these are like 44 or something like that. But yeah, so that's why they're marked. Those plates, if you see those on Amazon, I wouldn't really recommend. They were very much off. I'd get one, I ordered 2, and then one would be 47 and one would be 44 pounds. And you noticed that on the bar. So I had to order and return those multiple times until I got ones that were, the same. And even then, these are the only two I'll use on the barbell because they are very close and they're like 44.6 pounds. These ones are very much off. This one's like 43 and this one's like 47. So I use those just on the cable machines. And so that's why they're marked with black tape. And so, yeah, the weights are good. I did recently insulate the garage door and pick up an air conditioner unit. One thing I will say about that, if you are looking to cool your garage, I would highly recommend a mini split, a more permanent solution. I just recently got this. I got into the portable air conditioner game because we had a hurricane come and I picked one up for that short term and figured, I'd throw one out here. And it does okay. It keeps it cooler as if I didn't have it, but it's not ideal. If you are looking to cool a garage, I would not go this route. It has a hard time keeping up. Go with a mini split and a more permanent solution. And so what I have going on here is because I didn't want to raise the garage door and have to worry about sealing off the edges and the top, I instead installed a dryer vent and then took that 6-inch to a 6-inch extension down to a reducer to a 4-inch and then put it out the dryer vent. And so it has a quick disconnect so I can still open the garage door and it looks pretty and it's covered when it's not blowing. And so, yeah, we'll come back over here. You see my little flag. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to come back and see more content of me working out in here. I do have a fan that I got off Amazon, and it is a great fan. Before the air conditioning unit, I'd just crack the garage or open it all the way and just have that fan blowing, and it would do a great job getting airflow in here. It's a good, powerful fan. I do have a calf machine. My leg day equipment is lacking in here. It's tough. You can't buy a leg press machine for very cheap, and you don't want to get a cheap one. It's a fairly dangerous piece of equipment. And so, I do what I can. That is a great machine. It's very sturdy. Highly recommend if you do see it on Amazon, and it was fairly priced. I believe I got it for like $220, which again is up there. But I didn't build all this overnight. I took some time to save because I am not a wealthy person by any means. And so right over here, we have a lat pull down and row machine. So you can sit there, plant your feet. I'll throw down one of those foam mats and sit on that so it's a little more comfortable. And you row. And then the lat pull down, that works well. It's very sturdy. It's a good machine. I do a lot of weight on it. No issues whatsoever. Yeah. And so we'll come around here. I got, my little chair in here. We're going to move that to the side. Same deal. Again, budget friendly. Buying a whole set of dumbbells, very pricey. These Bowflex, they're great. They're not the most comfortable on the grip, but you get used to it, I'll use chalk a lot because the rubber can get a little slippery when you're super sweaty, so I chalk up with them. But they go up to 53 pounds. I have some kettlebells, just 10 pounds. I don't even use those, but my wife would when she would do lunges. And then a bunch of 2.5s and some 5-pound plates. And those are good, Can't go wrong with those. They're just Cap, again, cheap little brand, but they work very, very well. And they come, for the most part, pretty calibrated. Getting over the dumbbells, I obviously need some heavier than 55. So I do have these 75-pound dumbbells. And then from there, I have 115s. I got those on Amazon, I believe. And then these I got from a gym who was upgrading their dumbbells and happened to be selling these on Instagram. And so I reached out and I had a family member who lives in the area go pick them up for me. And then next time I went down there, I got them from him. So that was great. Over here, to have a little bit in between on the weights, I do have these little adjustable dumbbell bars where I can put the 1-inch plates on them. I don't use these very often, and I apologize for the sniffling. I am sick. Because they are a little uncomfortable. When you're setting the dumbbells on your knees, you put the ends on your knees a lot of times. And so those kind of dig in. So you kind of got to figure out a way to get them up easily. But, it's something. And then I have a bunch more of the 1-inch plates. And I probably just need to get rid of those because I do not use those. I got all the 1-inch plates I got off of Facebook Marketplace for very, very cheap. And so that's what I started this whole gym with, was just with those 1-inch plates. Over here, we got my wall of accessories and equipment. We do have some barbells. I have a power bar right there. and then a deadlifting bar, for different things. Again, very cheap. Amazon. They were like the cheapest ones on Amazon. They've done good. This deadlifting bar I actually love. I obviously used to work out in a gym before I built this, and that is my favorite bar I've ever used. Funny enough, here I'll go ahead and show the brand, Signature Fitness. And then for this metal barbell, I'm not even sure what the brand is, the power bar. Oh, there it is, Papa B. It's okay. It's not great. It's definitely a cheap barbell. You can tell as far as like there's no movement with these. And I haven't really had the best bar maintenance, but it even came like that. It's very sticky. The plate sometimes, it makes noise. It'll squeak when the plates are rotating on it. And then down here we do have a 1-inch bar. Again, my wife uses that. And then a, whatever you call it. It's slipping my mind. But, yep. And, I do also, that's a 1-inch. I do have a 2-inch one right here as well. And that is a good bar. Again, it kind of squeaks. Yeah, it's not going to squeak right now, but when the weights are on it, it is squeaky. But it is sturdy and it feels solid, and I like it. Over here we have, all the bands and clips. We have 1-inch clips, 2-inch clips, a bunch of different pieces. I do have a landmine attachment that's behind the curtain. I don't use it very often, but that's for that. Some glute kickbacks, handles, various things. Same thing, that's for the landmine, biceps. And, I got a little bit of everything. Nothing crazy. All the basics, the rope, the lat pull down bar, the push down bar, everything. If you are going to get with find a kit for this kind of thing, the first one I ordered, I believe I had got a lot of plastic pieces. This might have actually came in the lat pull down and row machine, but those are garbage. I probably should throw those away, but they're up there. Again, my wife will use them, but when you get with the heavier weight, it'll start to slip. It's like a plastic grip. It's not great, but yep, that's what we're working with. What else? We have all my belts. I originally started with this belt, pretty standard, but eventually upgraded to the latch style belts, and those are good. This guy right here, I wish I had a brand for you guys, but it's not on this one. It's my favorite belt. It's a little bit thicker. This one is a little bit slimmer, rip toned. And I will say about this one is I did have the metal shear off, but it still works. But a little bit cheap, a little bit disappointed in that. It sheared off very soon after getting it. And so yeah, and then I want to talk about this cable crossover machine. I've complained about it before. It is not a great piece of equipment. It is somewhat cheap. You can see that I have greased it up. I do have to regularly take off the grease and re-grease it so that it slides smooth, because it is very, very janky. It gets caught up on itself without the grease. But with the grease, it's fine. It's definitely not the sturdiest thing. Obviously, I got to be careful in which way I pull it, because I don't want to pull it over. I haven't had that happen yet, but that's just because I've been careful with it. And so same thing, it's 2-inch. You just throw the plates on and pull. There's one at the bottom, a hook at the bottom, and then a place to do it at the top. It's not adjustable, so you gotta alter some of your exercises for that. Keeping that in mind. Over here we have a toolbox, and then on top, I have my radio. I actually have the Alexa aux cord into it just so I can get a little bit louder. Some glass cleaner for my mirror, and then a chalk bowl right there. And we do have a TV and a mini fridge with some various energy drinks and pre-workout drinks that I don't even drink. There in case of emergencies. If I run out of pre-workout, then I will drink one. But for the most part, they're just for show, it seems like. And so, yeah. And then we have our little mirror right there. Calves for days, right? And so coming around, we have our cold plunge. It is a chest freezer that I sealed with silicone and modified with some various pieces. So it's an Inkbird controller is what it's called. And you can actually regulate the temperature. So I have it set to 50 degrees right now. When it gets to 51, it will then turn on the freezer and get it down to 50 and so on. And you know, it's a really cool device. I've had it down as low as 40 before. It works great. I have a fish tank filter in there. If you want to see more about that, check out my DIY cold plunge video that I have. It is in need of a water change right now. So got a little shower mat there. Coming around back to the middle, we have our flat bench. Titan Fitness is the brand on this. It is a great piece of equipment. Very, very sturdy, very wide, very, very firm. You know, it's not too plush where you're sinking into the cushion. It is fantastic. I really enjoy it. I like it. It has wheels, so it's easy to move, a handle to grab and lift. But, however, I will say that their incline is not the best. One thing, I've gone through a couple incline benches that I would like to point out is if you are in the market for one, make sure that you have one that has a center post in the middle, or maybe one of these on each side, because when you have this piece of metal on just one side, no matter how tight, I mean, that is a very thick piece of steel, it is still wobbling. No matter what I do, no matter how tight I get the bolts, no matter, you know, how tight the knob is, it will wobble. It will move. Specifically when I have, like, say, 200 pounds, when I'm trying to incline bench, you know, it gets a little unsettling, but I am used to it at this point. You know, I can control the weight. I'm a little bit more experienced now, so I can control those heavier weights, but it is a struggle. So if you are looking, maybe don't spring on this one, but you know, if it's something that's on sale and all you can afford, by all means, you know, you can make it work. Over here, my least favorite piece of equipment, and really the only thing in here that I do not like. This is for leg curls and leg extensions, as well as it does have a preacher curl attachment. This pops off and so forth. Same thing, pull this pin and this comes off, and that's the preacher curl attachments that it comes with. One thing I would let you know about is it is not very sturdy. It is not very well built. It is very sketchy when you're doing heavier weights on it. So, you know, it has this little sheath, so you can put the 1-inch plates on. You can do the 2-inch plates with that on. But you can see these are not really, even if I push these in constantly, they're always falling out. These are always sliding on you, and they're not very thick. So it will kind of dig into your legs when you're doing heavier weight. You know, do I regret it? Kind of, but I've got a lot of use out of it. You'll see I have another old Bowflex dumbbell that that set had broke. They were very, very old. They were given to me by my parents, actually. And I used one of them to weigh it down because it feels like it's going to fall forward when you're doing leg extensions. It will fling you forward. You know, it is adjustable. You have to do lying leg curls. And so you just put this down. It goes down a little more, but yeah, you get the gist. You know, you lie down, face down. Yeah. And then also, if you're doing lying leg curls, you can't have on 2-inch plates because they are too wide to get your legs through there. They will hit you in the legs, and it's very uncomfortable. So you have to have 1-inch plates if you want to do leg curls with this machine. Again, it's tough because, like I was saying, the leg equipment is very expensive, and this one was very cheap, so I don't really have an option. But you know, it is what it is. I have it. I use it. Typically, I do one leg at a time, so I'm not doing such heavy weight with it. And then we'll go back around here to the door. What I did is I have a bunch of different stuff in here. I got a shoe rack from Dollar General, so super cheap. And then I have all my sleeves, you know, knee sleeves, elbow sleeves, different types of lifting straps, even though I only use these at this point. But I tried them all out, and you know, they're okay. These are definitely my favorite, Iron Ape. But I mean, it's just a style that's my favorite. You know, brand shouldn't matter. Just get whatever's on sale, I would say. Again, you know, we have the wraps, the wrist wraps in there, and then the knee wraps. You know, they're fine. Let's see if we can get the brand off this for you guys. Whatever the heck that says. So yeah, very cheap brand, some Chinese brand. But they work. Coming down here, we have some liquid chalk, some more chalk, and then my barbell maintenance equipment, some oils and some brushes. I do take care of the knurling on the bars and oil them up and clean those up because it's kind of gross. And then we have some beads and some other headphones in there, but that's the gist of it. Coming around here, I do have some squatting shoes and then some chucks for usually deadlifting, but although lately I've been deadlifting in socks. Back here behind the curtain, we have some more of those dumbbell bars for the 2-inch plates. About the only thing they're good for is rows, bent over rows. Because the plates are so big, they will hit you if you try to really do anything else. You don't really get much range of motion out of them. And then just some other RAM stuff, some push-up bars. There's the landmine up there. Obviously, it's back here because I don't use this stuff very often. But it was good, cheap equipment to have. And so, I don't regret it. And yeah, that is pretty much all I can think of to review. I hope I didn't skip over anything. But it's a pretty straightforward gym. I wish I could give you a number of how much it cost me to build this. And, as much as I would like to, I don't really know. A lot of it's been bought over the period of several years. I've upgraded, I've got rid of stuff. I've waited till stuff went on sale. So, I can maybe create a spreadsheet of current prices of stuff, but that doesn't really put in the perspective of what I spent because there's deals on stuff, especially on Amazon all the time. And I, a lot of times, won't buy something until it goes on sale, whether it's Black Friday. I bought a lot of this stuff on Black Friday sales or Prime Day or whatever. Again, like for instance, this installation that I got on Prime Day or whatever they were calling it for like 30% off. And so that's the biggest thing, just keep your eye out. Don't try to build everything overnight. I want to say it's somewhere in the realm of like probably $2,000, maybe $3,000. But keep in mind, that has been over a period of years. It wasn't like, oh, I just dropped $2,000 right now. People spend $2,000 over a couple years on beer. So, just to put things into perspective, you can do it. Just be patient, take your time, find those deals, and you'll have a nice little gym going like this. Well, if you consider this nice, I do. I consider it a very good home gym, but you might have a different opinion. You might think it's junk. So, but we're going to keep upgrading, over the next year. I am still a college student, so, obviously funds aren't readily available, but I will be graduating next summer, find a job, and we'll be back to a dual income family. So I can hopefully have a little bit extra money to spend in here for you guys, I really want to upgrade that rack. Not because it's not great, but, I just want something a little bit better, and that's fine. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this little video. Hope I didn't, bore you and have a unsteady angle. I'm trying to hold as steady as possible, I promise you. And other than that, I will see you guys next time. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Peace out.